Let's get into the news here. And the Titans announced on Wednesday that they would be hiring Packers player personnel and football admin executive Chad Brinker as their new assistant GM. Brinker will oversee the operations and strategy and analytics side of the team. Easton, are you glad to see the Titans moving towards a growing analytics department led by people from the outside?
Oh, absolutely. The couple of things that this tells us, and it's not a lot, but the fact that he's the operations guy. Now, I've been led to believe that Rand Carthon's going to have two assistant GMs. This is one of them. Chad Brinker is going to be the ops guy. And so that question that we had when he was introduced, who exactly is in charge? Who's doing what? Who's managing personnel? It sounds like Brinker's going to be more in charge of that side of things, or overseeing the way that, I guess, at least the front office player personnel handles those things, with Rand Carthon overseeing him. The other thing is, yeah, if he's being brought in to head up analytics, he's a guy from the outside, brought in by a guy like Rand Carthon who has experience with and seems to be much more warm towards the idea of analytics being used. That makes sense that this team's probably going to lean more into that, at least from a front office perspective. And if they're collaborating the way that they've said they're going to be, if they're working well together, playing nice, then that should rub off on the coaching staff. Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon, they should. Do you remember when we were kids, the pens that were like on TV called blendies, where you'd put them in a chamber and you'd twist them and then you'd blend the colors together? Maybe it was
Sounds
just a regional
familiar.
thing. It was a thing when we were kids, okay? Like 15, 20 years ago. These were pens that were like a red pen and a blue pen, and you'd put them in this capsule, you'd twist them together, and then they'd both be like a reddish purple and a bluish purple. If this team is collaborating the way that they're supposed to be, this should be a team full of blendies at the executive level. You should see Rand Carthon bleed into the way that Mike Vrabel operates, and Mike Vrabel bleed into the way that Rand Carthon thinks. The one question I have from this hire is, he was brought in, and I believe it was Albert Breer, who does Monday Morning Quarterback over at Sports Illustrated, fantastic columnist and a guy covering the NFL. He said something on Twitter, and I should have gone and found it, but he said something along the lines of, it looks like Rand Carthon and the Titans are going to be going with a Cleveland model in terms of the way that they're building their front office. What does that mean? What about this hire makes it a Cleveland model? And once more, why exactly would you want to lean into anything that is a Cleveland Browns model? What about their front office, besides the fact that they famously have recently leaned into analytics, is super admirable or makes you want to copy off of their notes? Like, that one was confusing to me, and I'm curious to find out what that means. But generally, like the hire, don't know a ton other than the fact that this sheds a little bit of light on who's doing what.
In our last little thing of news here on this Friday morning, let's talk about the Titans passing game that Tim Kelly oversaw last year, which
Yeah.
was the first and second down passing game. And our friend of the show, Mike Herndon, actually tweeted out a couple of graphics here, and we'll take a look at them right here, which showed that the Titans were actually above average in according to the league on first and second down passing plays, according to
Yep.
their drop back by EPA per play. And if we look at the other one here, they were considerably worse on third down.
Yes. Yeah. So first of all, this is the perfect point to remind you that if you are just listening to this show, wherever you get your good podcasts, we appreciate you. Thank you. Please subscribe. But also, it's a video show, man. You can come see our beautiful faces, as well as this beautiful chart, as well as other many visual aids that we have in almost every single episode. You got to go to YouTube, Broadway Sports Media, the YouTube page for Broadway Sports Media. That is where you find our show each and every episode, as well as now we've got a number of clips from shows coming out there as well. So get everything Broadway Sports Media related, podcast related, all the F words shows. You can get the a football show, I believe, the 440 and Broadway production, as well as all of our media there. Watch it and listen to it. I promise it's twice as good. All right. Yeah. So this is interesting. And how much can you read into it? I think Mike Herndon said it himself in the tweet. Probably not a whole lot. We don't know. But we did find out that in the press conference, at least Mike Vrabel alluded to the fact that, okay, Tim Kelly last year, one of his main responsibilities was passing game on first and second down. Well, when you isolate those plays for the Titans, they were above league average. They were on par with the Eagles, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Commanders, in that group of people, slightly above average. On third down, they were abysmal. That's something that, if you're looking for if you're somebody that is really upset over the Tim Kelly hire and looking for a reason to be a little bit optimistic, if what he apparently was in charge of last year is any indication of his ability to call plays and to design plays and to game plan during the week, this looks like a pretty nice positive in his pros and cons chart.
And that's going to be it for our Titans news today.